Welcome back to Testimony, 20 years of rock on MTV. No band flaunted the hard rock lifestyle of high times, hot women, and general excess more flamboyantly than Van Halen, especially with its original frontman, David Lee Roth. This was the group that inspired 1,000 hair bands like Motley Crue and Poison. With its heavy rhythm section, virtuoso guitarist, and of course Diamond Dave out front, Van Halen was custom made for MTV.
The great thing about the Hot for Teacher video is it's probably the one video where Van Halen sort of got on tape what Van Halen was kind of like.
Hot for Teacher, everybody remembers Hot for Teacher.
Yeah.
I remember Hot for Teacher.
I love the whole concept of, you know, the little kid Van Halen band, and then the teachers. I wish I had teachers like that in my school.
A, it had attitude, and B, being a young adolescent boy, looking at a beautiful, we'll call her a teacher. Let's just hope she was a stripper.
I think that was actually probably the first time I ever saw a stripper dance.
The highlight of the Hot for Teacher video is when they're doing the dances, which like clearly Dave has choreographed and the other guys just can't learn to save their lives. Yet they got to film it sooner or later. That's like the best they're going to get it. They're doing their best to do all of these. That's really the highlight of that video.
One of them can't dance, I know that much.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it and thinking,
Michael Anthony, probably.
probably. It's great, the bass player didn't have rhythm.
I thought the bits where they're doing all the dancing together in their red suits, that's classic Van Halen.
That was the one video where you sort of saw the Van Halen charm sort of fully come across.
Diamond Dave, God bless the man. You know, he's like Catskills comedy meets good rock music.
I have no musical influences, so to speak. My idols were always people like Genghis Khan or Muhammad Ali or Alexander the Great or the guy who invented McDonald's hamburgers.
You're gonna have brilliance, you're gonna have goofiness, that's it. And you gotta have both things because otherwise you'll never get that nice middle.
This video's hot. It sounds cool. It looks cool. They've got attitude.
The next memory of MTV was they had that contest with Van Halen. Some kid in Detroit got to go on tour with them and everything. And I remember seeing that, and I just wanted to be that guy.
We have the winner of the last weekend here tonight.
Van Halen brothers and David Lee Roth kind of knew each other.
I think Van Halen is very much defined by David Lee Roth. I think anything else has just been like a cover band doing Van Halen songs.
Right Now changed my life.
I don't think one is better than the other. They're so different. And Eddie's the winner and all that. Because he's there for both of them.
There was that kind of a cartoonish element to early Van Halen that was very appealing, and a kind of more of an adult element to later Van Halen that also was appealing.
David Lee Roth, Eddie Van Halen, Alex, Michael, you know, will always be the original Van Halen. But I gotta say this, Sammy Hagar being one of my good friends, right? He's also a great singer, a great performer, a great guitar player, and so I thought it was a pretty good transition.
They did something no one else could ever do. They made a lead singer change and still continued on with big success, and I've never seen anybody really pull that off in that way.
I think Poison, in many ways, has had an impact in a lot of different ways. Both people that absolutely love what we have done and absolutely hate what we've done. My favorite video from Poison that we've ever done would probably be Nothing But a Good Time, because that was just such a great memory, you know, of that moment.
Seeing the old videos of all the girls in the cars and the big hair, and, you know what I'm saying, the motorcycle was rolling down Sunset Strip, it made you just like look at it and go, wow.
Let's rock and roll.
It was a great time of decadence in Los Angeles at the time, and those guys brought it to the world.
Welcome to the world of a Motley Crue.
I'd like to think that we've had a really big impact on the cycle of music.
I love the video for Looks That Kill by Motley Crue.
I remember seeing this Motley Crue video for, I don't remember what song it was, and I was like, those guys are bad.
Motley Crue had an element of danger, an element of unpredictability.
All of the shout at the devil, regalia.
You really truly didn't know what was going to happen next.
Like the platform boots and pentagrams shooting everywhere off the bass drums and the makeup.
I remember buying Shout at the Devil. It was exciting to me because it was everything that my school could possibly hate, and it was everything that I wanted in a record.
Oh my God, that is rock.
One day when I die, somebody will look back and say, you know what? Nobody has spun their drums upside down. Nobody's flown their drums from the back, from the stage all the way to the back of the arena. Nobody has made their drums levitate and blow up in midair and reappear on the stage.
If Motley Crue seemed soaked in glammy decadence, John Bon Jovi repackaged the idea of big hair rock stardom as something that millions of little girls could get next to without fear of being weirded out. A hefty infusion of big chord power ballads didn't hurt either.
I picture more of what I'm doing as like Clint Eastwood with a guitar.
Like Bon Jovi's music, and I think that they definitely had an influence on a lot of hard rock bands. Their videos were big, and I think they brought a lot of energy and a lot of life to music videos.
I've seen a million faces, and I rock them all. 18 and life you got it. 18 and life you know.
Well, you know, people say Skid Row, you guys are like an overnight success. I go, it took at least like 3 nights. Now, what did surprise me that so many people bought the records, and I have to thank MTV for that because they gave me the exposure. You know, they put us in every living room, every night. You see, I never got in a rock band. What career do I want to be? I can be a doctor, or I can be a lawyer, or I can be a rocker. Which do I pick? That's not the way, rock and roll picked me. At midnight on Saturday, we get, you know, together and get a case of beer and watch Headbangers Ball. It was the greatest.
The show that was, you know, the be-all and end-all was Headbangers Ball.
Whatever happened to the ball, man? The ball was another MTV party.
Riki
That was an MTV party.
That was the only way you could see like the rock video, like the rock videos that we liked.
I remember being in like 7th or 8th grade and seeing Pantera, Skid Row, and like Winger.
It's always interesting to see what they would dig up for the Headbangers Ball.
We'd watch and study the latest, you know, gestures and gyrations of Poison and Skid Row.
Judas Priest videos were actually pretty dope early MTV videos.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got another thing coming?
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
I show up to do the very first time Skid Row on Headbangers, and Ace is in the next seat to me getting made up for his interview, and we hit it off. You know, I was like, oh my God.
I miss Riki Rachtman. You gotta love Riki Rachtman. It's great.
I remember seeing it sometimes at my friend's house, and like the hosts were all, you know, and like, hi, it's Headbangers Ball, like all saucy and stuff, and then like towards the end of it, they're all, what's up? They're all tatted down. Piercings, you know, Adidas, they're all, this is Korn, check it out. You know?
I remember that's the first time I heard Guns N' Roses.
I think that first experience of Headbangers Ball was where we destroyed the stage.
If Appetite for Destruction is any indication, you guys are going to destroy a whole lot when it comes to rock and roll.
They told us that we could. They were sort of kidding, and we tore the whole set.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we have before us here is redecoration unlike any I've ever seen.
Guns N' Roses started, and at that point, it was just us and them.
They came out, they were raw, they did what they wanted to do, they did it the way they wanted to do it.
They were extremely successful and very wild. They did rock and roll amazing.
They embodied that next wave of, at least they were out there just tearing it up.
They just kicked everybody's ass.
You know, Guns N' Roses were real exciting. In fact, that was sort of an MTV buzz moment, you know, when Welcome to the Jungle like first hit the screen.
Best Guns N' Roses video would clearly be Welcome to the Jungle.
Welcome to the Jungle came on, it was just like, whoa.
It tells a story of a guy just off the bus from Indiana, you know, who meets, you know, Hollywood characters, and next thing you know, you're in a rock and roll band. And doing your serpentine.
When we did Welcome to the Jungle, it was such a new concept. It was we had a very Sex Pistols kind of attitude towards it.
Welcome to the Jungle was a damn exciting moment. Even though it pissed me off at the time, I was like, those guys are getting over like gangbusters. What's going on here? You know, we can't even get a record played on the radio.
It was the right album at the right time. And, you know, certain albums just hit.
All of a sudden, when MTV sort of put its wing over us, because the singles were doing well, that's when the videos started to blossom. When Sweet Child of Mine came out, it was that pop single that was a ballad that just universally appealed to everybody.
Sweet Child of Mine, MTV, watching that video, changed the world.
I'm a bad boy, 'cause you don't even miss her.
I know I saw Axl do Free Fallin' with Tom Petty. That was cool.
We're walking off the stage, and Vince Neil leaps up out of the audience and hits Izzy right in the face. Well, my mind's blown, you know, like, wow, this guy just ran up out of the audience and hit Izzy in the face. Now, I think Izzy already had a black eye. I think it was all about some chick or, you know, some mud wrestler or something.
Axl is Axl. Take it or leave it. You know, he doesn't give a shit. If you don't like what he does, he could care less. You know, I think that rules.
This guy just sounded so spiteful and so angry and so, like, real.
And he was a very driven guy, you know, like probably the most driven person I've ever met.
Where Axl was coming from, and probably still is trying to express the lyrics through a visual.
I think November Rain was brilliantly shot.
November Rain, I mean, hit it right on the mark, I thought.
It was almost like a mini movie and very cool at the time.
Everybody was allowed their one big rock about it.
November Rain was his ode to all those great Elton John ballads.
To me, that's my classical music because some of his stuff is classical, you know. And so I listen to Elton John all the time.
Axl was a fantastic performer. I actually played with him at the MTV Awards on November Rain.
And I know it meant a lot to Axl because Axl, you know, one of Axl's big heroes was Elton John.
Where we went through major lows and some highs and some major highs and some major lows and some highs.
The fact that it even lasted 5 years or 6 years, I think, was amazing because it was just a time bomb.
Guns did its one record for me, as far as I'm concerned. We accomplished that. That'll always be there. And so everything I do from there is just moving onward.